This is the Big Ten on ESPN from Columbus, Ohio. Two teams, traditional powers in this league, that have both struggled this year. Indiana finishing up on the road. Senior day for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Students are here. For them, an early tip. For the players, we'll see. Thomas Bryant and Trevor Thompson getting ready to go. Dave Fleming, Dan Dakich with you. And the Buckeyes have the ball first.
Yeah, look for Jae'Sean Tate on the block inside. Mark Loving on the wing.
Jae'Sean Tate, dramatic game winner earlier this week for Ohio State to get a win on the road against Penn State. And a move kind of similar to that one. He finished in State College.
He didn't have to go right to left, but that was the almost exact spin move that he won the game with.
I guess he likes it. Robert Johnson goes backdoor. James Blackman, the first points for the Hoosiers.
Hey, that was really nice by Indiana. Johnson dribbled at Blackman. Cam Williams turned his head. Blackman back cut him. Look, defensively, both teams are mediocre. And one of the reasons they're both mediocre is they don't do a great job of seeing both ball and man. And you saw it right there out of Cam Williams.
Here is the only Ohio State senior. Loving gave it up to C.J. Jackson, who missed the three. Well, and for both of these programs, this year has been a big disappointment, particularly in conference play. Both of them have had their share of very tough, close losses, though. A lot of what-ifs, I think, on both sides. Here's a three from Johnson. It goes down.
Yeah, the right side, Johnson on the wing. You know, people are talking so negatively around Indiana about this team, but let's look at it. They played Purdue pretty well in the game. You're just not going to win at Mackey. Their other loss on the road, one-pointer at Minnesota. So the road hasn't been that tough. They just haven't been able to close things out.
Trevor Thompson hit the side of the backboard. Nope. That was not the intent. Well, the flip side for the folks who have been down on the Hoosiers, it took a miracle 8-0 run at the end of the game against Northwestern. Otherwise, Indiana would be coming into this game on a 7-game losing streak.
And a 22-0 run in the middle of it. But Indiana off to a great start here. Another three goes down. And that kid's been playing really well. Josh Newkirk has come on and solidified a position that was up in the air early.
Here's Cam Williams. That shot was altered by Newkirk. Good defense. And Blackman saves it into Thomas Bryant. What a great start for Indiana.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything better.
Blackman three. Good. Okay, that would be better. It's 11-0 now.
Yeah, it can always get worse and it can always get better. Dumb by me to suggest it couldn't get better.
They haven't been a quick starting team. They are today. We'll be back in 30 seconds. I think partially trying to make sure his team started the game well. I guess it worked.
Yeah, it did work. He was out there. It's like, you know what? He was looking at everything. He didn't say much. He was looking at how the weight coach got the team ready. He was looking at assistant coaches. He was looking at absolutely everything, and he got what he wanted.
Well, there's a shot that goes down. First one for the Buckeyes from C.J. Jackson.
I like C.J. Jackson. Again, like what I talked about with Newkirk, C.J. Jackson has solidified things.
A little floater from Robert Johnson.
See, I'm telling you, Indiana is the most dangerous team in the Big Ten tournament, and every coach tells me that because they can score. They can score in the post. They play fast. They can get electric on you.
So could Indiana, I mean, it sounds far-fetched for a team that is below 500. Could they win the whole thing? Could they win the Big Ten tournament?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think that if you really look at it, everybody except Rutgers, I think, can win the Big Ten tournament.
All right, this is what we were talking about pregame. This does not usually happen.
No. Most head coaches, Tom Izzo come out and sit on the bench. Most head coaches sit in the back, and as Bear Bryant said, figure out ways not to lose. And Tom Crean came out because he wanted his team focused, and sometimes only the head coach can get that done. Didn't say anything, but his presence out there kind of straightened everybody up.
13-3. Trevor Thompson at the free throw line, the big man who has taken a big step forward for the Buckeyes this year.
Yeah, he's a kid from Indiana, and Indiana didn't really recruit him. Purdue didn't really recruit him, and they shouldn't have. He didn't have a great high school career. Virginia Tech took a chance on him. He went there, transferred, and he's really developed under Dave Dickerson and the whole Ohio State staff.
His dad Ryan was a Major League Baseball player, big tall guy like Trevor. Thomas Bryant down low, nice move.
They've thrown the ball into the post twice. They have 5 points out of it. Once Bryant scored right there. The other time they got it reversed. Johnson hit a wing jump shot.
They're 6 of 6 overall from the field. Tate had it stripped away by Juwan Morgan. Robert Johnson out to Blackman, and he knew he missed it, but it was such a bad miss it went right to Morgan.
And Morgan was hanging out, kind of went under the bucket, just a cursory move to the backboard. Ball found him.
All right, how about this? First 4 minutes of the game, Indiana has made all 7 of their shots, and all 5 of their starters have scored.
That's pretty
already.
good.
That's pretty good.
You know what's happened in this game that hasn't happened other times? Cam Williams knocks it in. Indiana's really moving the ball. They're not getting the ball stuck on one side, and they haven't thrown it to the other team.
Yeah, that's a key for Indiana. Yeah. They're throwing it to each other, and it's leading to looks like that. This team has been plagued, Indiana, by turnovers this year.
Well, and unforced turnovers. They've thrown it away over 22% of the time. And is second in major college basketball. Like, what are you doing?
That was a good look, and Thompson hits the deck. So a foul against the Hoosiers sends us to a timeout. Sometimes a really bad miss leads to something good. Everything going right for the Hoosiers early.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community.
Way up to Selection Sunday. We are in the midst of a champ week. Indiana, if they win and Nebraska loses, they'll be a 10 seed. Ohio State, if they win this game, they're a 10 seed. It's important because you avoid that first day. If you get the 10 seed, you get at least that one bye. Don't have to play on Wednesday. Wait till Thursday. Makes your road to a championship a little bit easier. So far, it's been the road team, the Hoosiers. 19-8, the early lead. Ohio State inbound in the ball to their senior Mark Loving. Dave Fleming, Dan Dakich will be there in the cradle of the Big Ten, Washington, D.C. Jae'Sean Tate blocked by Thomas Bryant.
Hey, that was really good defense by Bryant. He moved his feet, stayed down, kept his hands up.
I mean, this is going to be interesting. Bryant for 3, it goes down. Man, Indiana just shooting lights out.
Indiana is on fire. The one shot they've missed, they're 9 of 10. The one shot they missed was an air ball that was rebounded and laid in. Danger for Bryant is when he makes a 3, sometimes he falls in love with the perimeter. Doesn't need to do that today.
C.J. Jackson. And on this side of the court, everything's contested for Ohio State.
And Ohio State has gotten themselves thinking they have to score 7 points per possession and shoot it quick, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do.
So Indiana's missed 2 shots. They've rebounded both of those misses themselves and gotten points on. They've scored on every possession.
That was a great play by Bryant. He caught it and just knew the next play immediately, kicked it to Johnson. Johnson was set to knock it out.
Here's the senior Mark Loving. Ohio State needs to get it going.
What Ohio State needs to do is just hang around here, get their defense figured out, make this happen. Make somebody go one-on-one and make a decision. That's when Indiana messes up.
Now that was a bad pass.
Yeah, because a guy went one-on-one to make a decision after only one pass.
That's their first turnover. Thompson down low against the freshman, Davis. Thompson, good move with the left hand.
That was as good as it gets. 2 dribbles into the middle, then a drop step. If you are a coach or you are a young post player, clip that and just have that move. If you can perfect that move right there, there are so many counters off of it, and you can become a much better post player over the summer.
If he stays out of foul trouble, Trevor Thompson has played really, really well in the Big Ten this year. One of the best big men in this league.
Almost a double-double, 9 rebounds.
But the foul trouble has been a big problem. With a foul, a basket for James Blackman.
That was the best defense by far Ohio State's played in the three-point play. Look, do this move. Get it? 2 dribbles middle. Watch it. 1, 2, 3. Drop step. Keep your chin on the rim and go lay it in. That move is great. Really good defense. And then Loving just relaxed for a second, and Blackman didn't settle for the 3, which is huge for a team that's making a bunch of 3s. I'll give you a story. There was a kid at Toledo named Greg Stempen. He was huge. He was the best player in the Mid-American Conference. He ended up playing for the Bucks. we gave him an open three to start games. We wanted him to make the first three because he would fall in love with the three-point shot. And him out on the perimeter was great for us. Him on the block was death for us because guys fall in love, particularly big guys, with the three.
Three-point play for the junior James Blackman. 28-12. So the point being here in this game, Thomas Bryant made his first three. If you're Ohio State, you don't mind if he hangs out on the perimeter all day.
You want him hanging out on the perimeter. And then the other point is James Blackman has made three, but he didn't settle. He drove it. He got himself into the lane. Here's a layup.
Robert Johnson just beats everyone down the floor.
Man, this is as dull a team as I have seen all year in Ohio State. It's a dull arena. There's no juice, and the team is providing zero for its fans. Zero.
Well, maybe they can lean on the senior Mark Loving. Lyle immediately in the game launches a three.
Well, that's one way to get juice is make some shots, but it's not going to happen unless Ohio State starts making Indiana uncomfortable. Dave, we're watching. Indiana is so comfortable. They're moving the ball wherever they want, either by the dribble like here or the pass.
I mean, they're 13 of 15 shooting.
And it's not all jump shots, so water's not going to find its level. You give guys layups, they're going to make them in major college basketball.
Andre Wesson, freshman, picked up his dribble in an awkward spot. Lyle will use a screen. Jaquan Lyle got fouled, so he'll shoot free throws when we come back. Indiana has undoubtedly struggled over the course of this year. They're not struggling today. Dan Dakich, though, has some opinions about those Keene Hoosiers lead. Time to go beyond the bucket, presented by PNC Investments. Okay, Dan, look, Indiana's off to a great start in this game, but they're 6-11 in conference play. This is a team that at one point was the number 3 ranked team in the country. You played, you coached, you live in the state of Indiana. Your thoughts on the Hoosiers season?
Well, the Hoosiers season has been a disappointment, and I'm not pinning it on Tom Crean, and I'm not going to go into telling you about his passion and how hard he works. Look, every coach has passion, and every coach works hard. The problem with this year's team has been the players, not the coach. Players haven't bought in. Tom Crean has proven by winning 2 outright championships in the last 4 years that he can coach, that he can develop players, that he can do this at a high level if, and this is a big if, you buy into what he's selling. This team has had no leadership. This team has had a junior class that Tom Crean has called out that hasn't provided Indiana type of leadership, type of buy-in. An interesting conversation with Matt Painter this week. He told me, look, if you can get Matt Painter's a head coach at Purdue, the Big Ten champions this year. Matt told me, if you can get 6 or 7 of your players to give you total buy-in, that's great. That's about all you can expect because every player has other things. Indiana has not gotten the right guys to buy in. Thus, Indiana's season has been a disappointment. Last year, Indiana had great leadership. Guys bought in. Yogi Ferrell, Nick Zeitzlaw, Max Bielfeldt. You win a championship and you make the NBA.
So you have 15 players on your team. 13. And Matt's saying 13 scholarship players on your team. Maybe 15 or 16 if you include everybody. But all right, we'll focus on the scholarship guys. If you get 6 or 7 of them who are buying into what you're selling, that's good.
That's really good.
Wow.
And it's hard for people to understand. And that's not coming from me. That's Matt came on my radio show, said that to the world, because of course the world listens to my radio show. And that's a heck of a move. But look, players have to buy in totally. You can't have your leaders, and I think the leadership of Indiana has been abysmal for most of the year. You can't have your leaders rolling their eyes, thinking of other things.
That was a good play by Devontae Green, and then Blackman just missed the 3. The pass fake created an open shot. Ohio State trying to dig out of their huge early hole. That was a bad entry pass.
Without a pass. There was no pass. Lyle just dribbled it a couple times, tried to throw it into the block, then he got whipped on defense.
Almost a turnover right back in the other direction. Davis double-teamed and then had the shot sort of half-blocked from behind.
That's what I tell you. When Indiana goes one-on-one and has to make decisions, that's when the turnovers come.
Lyle hits the 3.
That's a big shot. That's a big shot because it gets it around 10 now. It's not around 20. 14 can become 20 in a hurry. You've got to make sure this stays around 10 or under.
I mean, if you're going to play awful and get way down, much better to do that very early in the game. You get all the time in the world to come from behind.
There's a saying in coaching, early leads never last against even teams.
And these teams are very even on paper. Ohio State using that double team against Davis. Now that was a good pass out of it, but a shot. No, they call a foul.
There was a push. Green went down the lane. He got pushed from behind by Lovett.
Right before the shot clock violation.
See that push? You can't see it. It happened real quick with his left arm.
And it did happen before the shot clock
absolutely
went off. Now Thad Matta's upset enough to take the sport coat off.
Number 15, Cam Williams. Number 32, Trevor Thompson.
So that bails the Hoosiers out a little bit. Newkirk, long two, good.
Man, was that easy? Just come up, set a little ball screen, get to the elbow, lift up, no pressure, knock it in. That'll make you take your coat off. Thad Matta just ripped his sport coat off. He's going with the white shirt and tie.
I think the whistle initiated the wardrobe change. Lyle out of control. Thompson fouled on the follow. He'll go to the free throw line. Okay, we've been talking about it all week. Tonight, 8:15 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Part 2, Duke and Carolina, number 17, number 5, this time in Chapel Hill. It'll stream live on the ESPN app, a Sonic blockbuster. What's interesting about the matchup to you?
I want to see North Carolina play like the #1 team in the country, which they should be, but they scored 23.5. Dave, the two of us, the great Bart Fox, our producer, Tim Sutton, our director, and Jay, our tech, could score 23.5. So you can't, associate director, you can't be the #1 team if you're going to score 23.5. If they, North Carolina, can't,
even against the pack line defense, we could get to 23.
You have 6 McDonald's, 8 McDonald's All-Americans, and you get 23.5. So until they, let me put it this way, they scored 23 in the first half against Duke, they're going to be down 30.
There's a three, and it's good for Robert Johnson.
Indiana, totally different team when Robert Johnson makes shots. He's been in a real slump, and good for him. He's been in the gym, he's worked hard, he's kept his mouth shut, and he's reaping the benefits.
Indiana's 6 of 9 shooting threes in this first half. Lyle wanted to shoot the three. Now he'll try to take Johnson, finds Wesson. That one goes down.
You know, Andre Wesson just came, and with no expectation, he said publicly, I'm just going to do what the coach wants me to do. And guess what? By doing that, he's become a major contributor both ends.
His brother's going to be here next year and should be a big part of this Buckeyes program.
Yeah, literally. He's 6'10", 280.
Well, the coach is getting a little intense on the sidelines with the way his Buckeyes have started this game. Not well. So maybe Thad's going to try to ramp up his own intensity to help get his team going. Cam Williams went for the steal, didn't quite get it. Bryant got great position. Thompson recovered, though, to alter the shot.
Again, he just put his hands up, and very awkward is Bryant going to his right shoulder.
Wesson again. No.
Too quick. I know he made the previous one, but the ball never went from side to side. When the ball goes side to side, the ball goes in. Look at this. Right down there.
Yeah, that has happened too many times, and I think you can see the reaction from Coach Matta.
You want me to give you another coaching saying?
Yes.
He just said it. What are you doing?
It's often used.
Yeah.
Williams. Jackson. Quick passing with the Indiana defense in place, then Johnson just reaches in.
That's really good ball movement by Ohio State, and that's what they have to do. They're going to realize you have 28 minutes, and you're only down 13. I mean, you can come back from 13 and, 3 possessions, 3 threes, and next thing you know, you're in a 4-point game. So you just got to understand, keep moving the basketball inside out some, drive it, and then get solidified on the defensive end, and this will be down the wire.
Saquon Lyle kind of missed the bunny, but put it back in.
Faked everybody out, made it look like he was going to kick it back to Potter for a top of the key three. Both Indiana guys went. Lyle found himself open.
That was such a strange play. It might have even fooled the guy who had the ball.
It did.
Johnson will try another three. This time way short. Good hustle by Green, but Ohio State comes away with it. Loving on the attack. Good move.
Really good move. He didn't settle for a three. So many times you see guys run, stop, shoot a three. That time he took it to the rim. Going to go to line for two.
Ohio State on the comeback trail.
In a row, and in that time they've beaten Michigan State. They've beaten that Northwestern team that's the story of the nation this past week. So Illinois a week ago, I would have said 2 weeks ago, I would have said no chance.
No chance.
Not now.
Now they have a chance.
Man, get a couple good wins in the tournament.
If they lose this game today, though,
that would. I think if they lost today, that would end any hopes of anything other than winning the tournament.
I think so too.
Look how Indiana's getting in the lane. And again, they do it by playing inside out. If Indiana figures it out and plays inside out, they're going to make a run here in the Big Ten tournament.
Mile down the lane, and that time it was the Indiana defense that got out of the way.
Man, Thomas Bryant didn't move over at all. And Jaquan Lyle, if you let him in the middle, I've been saying it all year, he's deaf. You let any Big Ten player get to the rim, they're usually deaf.
The biggest lead was 18. They've already cut it down in half. Bryant with a foul.
That was sweet. That was Chris Webber, right shoulder, spin away from the double. The double's been coming. You have two options in a double. Here it comes. It's late. There's nobody there. He spins to his right shoulder. That's one option. It kind of, sort of, maybe doubled. And then left. The other option is you inside pivot. You Jack Sikma inside pivot, put the ball over your head. But I just had a friend who's a big IU fan send me a text. Double the post, Indiana turns it over. He's right. Don't double the post, you get whipped. I'll credit Kevin Custer, big Indiana fan. He's sitting here, he came to the game with me, just sent me a text.
And he's helping you do your job. Man, nice friend.
Takes advantage. Indiana has been ridiculous the last two possessions defensively. Like, you have to at least give resistance, no?
You do.
A little.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Bryant, there's a foul against the Hoosiers. So we get a chance to remind you tonight, our NBA Saturday primetime game presented by Verizon Wireless over on ABC. It's Chris Paul and the Clippers against Jimmy Butler and the Bulls. 8:30 Eastern. NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern to get you ready. It'll stream live on the app.
You know what I woke up to today?
What?
Chris Paul complaining. What a shock. Does anybody complain more than that team?
Nobody complains more than that team.
Right.
And Chris Paul, I think he would even admit sort of, well, maybe he wouldn't, but he kind of leads the way.
Do you agree with Mark Jones, who says that the Clippers are the second best team in the West?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Who do you think is?
Well,
who's the best now?
The best teams are the Warriors, Spurs, and Rockets, and then the Clippers can fall in after that. Meanwhile, the Hoosiers are playing like one of the best teams in the Big Ten today.
Because they're not settling for jump shots. Newkirk got the ball, saw Big, whipped him, went to the rim. You see Potter on Newkirk, little crossover, help is non-existent by Lyle. And instead of settling for a jump shot, which Indiana has done, they've thrown it inside. Then they've come back and reversed it and went and drove it. Indiana does this, they're incredibly dangerous. This is the team offensively that beat Carolina and Kansas.
They beat Carolina and Kansas. You know, it's why to this moment, the computers, the BPI, the analytics, they still love Indiana with all the losses in conference play, because that's as good of a pair of non-conference wins as you could have.
There is. And Jaquan Lyle got in the middle again. You let Jaquan Lyle get in the middle, kids, repeat after me. He's going to kill you.
He's going to kill you. I repeat it after you.
I like what Indiana's done now. The last time the two post feeds have been with Blackman on the same side. No double, offensive foul.
Jackson kind of sold that one. That's an offensive foul. So the Hoosiers, I mean, this is the perplexing part about Indiana's year. BPI 31 for a team that's 6-11 in the Big Ten. Kansas, Carolina, Michigan State, Northwestern. Wins against the top of 1-8 on the road, though, stands out in the other direction.
Well, it does, but what also stands out is how poorly they've played down the stretch here. And you can say it's because of OG Anunoby, that's fine. I think the bigger issue across the board all year has been the absence of Colin Hartman. Colin Hartman, mature kid, glue guy, makes others better. And really, when you look at Indiana, they don't have anybody that really makes anybody else better.
I'm not sure I agree with you that that has been a bigger issue, but I will agree that those two together have really cost Indiana big time. And the other point to make about looking at their resume is, I mean, if this were even a 500 team in league play, they'd be in the tournament because of those non-conference wins. I mean, I feel very confident that if they had just been a 500 Big Ten team, they would be in the field as of this moment.
And with a decent seed.
With a pretty good seed.
Remember last year, they won the Big Ten by 2 games. Okay? Yep. They were a 5 seed. Michigan State did not win the Big Ten by 2 games. They were a 2 seed. So the overall scope of your schedule obviously plays into it, and the overall scope with those 2 wins is great.
It was great. Mark Loving from the baseline. He's always liked that spot. That one wasn't even close.
That was a big shot. They could have got it under 10.
Johnson runner. Offensive rebound, Bryant. Good.
I'm telling you, when he plays like that, like I thought going into this year, he was going to be the player of the year in the Big Ten based on how he finished around the backboard last year. This year, he's drifted out on the block, hasn't really found his niche, but when he goes down on the block and he is a bear on the offensive boards, as good as there is.
Thomas Bryant is super talented. Tate draws a foul. I don't think he looks as strong as he did last year. He doesn't look as physical as he did last year, which is unusual. Usually you sort of go in the... Now, maybe that's just anecdotal for me. Maybe he is, but...
I've been told he's lost 20 pounds so he can play out on the perimeter, which is silly. Be who you are. Dance with what brung you. The three-point shot did not bring Thomas Bryant, just like with Jae'Sean Tate. The three-point shot didn't bring him, so he's a driver, a finisher, a post-up guy at 6'4".
Morgan, by the way, 3 fouls for Indiana, so he goes to the bench. 47-34. Still 4:15 to go in this first half. That's 47. The last time Ohio State allowed 50 or more in the first half of a game was in 2001. Indiana should blow right by that 50-point number.
Well, there has been no indication that Ohio State feels like guarding, so I would think they would get into the mid-50s. They being Indiana.
Newkirk 3 is good. All right, so they got to 50 with still 3:43 to go. Let's see if Dan Ferguson back in our truck can find the... let's challenge him a little bit. What's the record in the history of Ohio State basketball, most first-half points they've ever allowed? That's it for Dan. That's a jump ball. Arrow favors the Hoosiers. Wow, what an offensive show from Indiana. Still a long way to go, but they've got to 50 and still going that much.
Congratulations, you're the winner of the champagne presented by Ultimate, sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
That's what I'm saying.
Or there will be blood.
Yes.
From our movie critic, studio host. Love it. There will be some blood if Illinois loses that game to Rutgers. I mean, that is huge for the Illini. They have to win that game, I would think, to stay on the bubble.
They do.
I mean, Rutgers, look, that's no disrespect to Rutgers. They have gotten better. They have been tough on some teams. They have a couple wins, but you got to win that game.
There is no excuse to lose that game. Zero. You played well if you're Illinois. You just had a good win. That may be the only excuse because sometimes college kids can't come back from a good win.
Still 3 minutes to go in the first half here. Indiana already to 50. Robert Johnson. Bryant, or rather Davis, had his hands on it, couldn't secure the offensive rebound. Now Loving goes 1-on-3, and that did not work out well.
That was great defense by Robert Johnson. He got to the rim and just took it from Loving.
Newkirk had nowhere to go, threw it away.
That's what kills you if you're Indiana. What was it? A guy going one-on-one and making a decision.
Thompson ran the floor, then lost the ball. Bryant runs the floor, loses the handle.
All of a sudden, the YMCA game broke out.
Now it does look like you and me. And Ohio State's going to try to settle down. Please wait for C.J. Jackson joined him. Thompson, offensive foul.
No question. Really good defense. Davis moved his feet. Thompson lowered his shoulder. Offensive foul when that happens. This is easy. This is real easy. Watch Davis move his feet. Big step, big step. Shoulder down, offensive foul. Easy.
Ohio State maybe trying to use a little of this full court pressure to try to get the defense going. It didn't create a whole lot of pressure, though.
Well, what you do is, against Ohio State's press, is you dribble against Jaquan Lyle. I mean, they just did. They put Robert Johnson, they reversed it to him against Jaquan Lyle, and Johnson just beat Lyle. Everybody else got fouled.
Points Indiana scored in any first half this year, 54. I mean, this is a team that at times has been very explosive offensively.
Yeah, and they've played some really bad teams.
So that helps sometimes. Yes. Bryant dunks it.
And Loving way late. When you post double, the opposite wing guy has to put his head under the basket and actually get ball side towards the post. Loving was late. When you're late, it's a dunk.
4 different players for Indiana are in double figure scoring in the first half. Thompson, another offensive rebound. Back to the free throw line. Both these teams are pretty good offensive rebounding teams, especially Indiana, but Tate and Thompson for the Buckeyes.
Well, one of the reasons is because they're big guys. The big guy for Ohio State stays around the basket. The big guy from Indiana, if he's not out there, or the four-man for Indiana, if they're on the perimeter, comes sprinting in for the offensive rebound. So both of these teams emphasize it and get what they emphasize.
Thompson made them both. Just under a minute and a half to go in the first half from Columbus. Davis used the glass. Maybe Ohio State a little push at the end of the half. Loving for 3. Good.
Mark Loving for 3 from C.J. Jackson.
You're right. I mean, the push is necessary, mandatory, and that goes a long way towards making this an interesting second half.
Roberts doesn't score a whole lot, does play some minutes for Indiana.
He's a solid guy. He plays great defense.
Green, high, arcing 3. And now very little difference between game clock and shot clock. What will the strategy be for Ohio State? Ignore the shot clock.
Well, they got a great look. You know, ideally you'd want to take it down and get the same look. But, hey, look, they got what they wanted. Lyle just missed it.
Yeah, I have no problem shooting that, but you got to make that one.
You have to. Yeah, there's no question.
Newkirk down the lane, and a lot of that for the Hoosiers in the first half.
You cannot let major college players get into the lane. Newkirk was on the side and just waltzed into the lane. You let major college players in the lane, you're going to get a bucket, you're going to get a foul, you're going to get both, and this is clearly good.
Clearly good, and clearly a good half for the Hoosiers of Indiana. They shot 65%. First time Ohio State 50 or more in a first half since 2001. Adnan Lafonso in studio. It's halftime from Columbus. We start the second half here in Columbus, Ohio, where Indiana 54-40. The Hoosiers lead the Buckeyes. This arena opened in 1998. The most points Ohio State has allowed in any one game, 84. That's happened a few times. But Indiana on pace to just blow past that total. Dave Fleming, Dan Dakich with you. The Hoosiers offense was really impressive.
And the Ohio State defense was really unimpressive.
It was.
Indiana came right out, and that's the best half I've seen them play in a long, long time. They played inside, outside. They didn't settle for one-sided jump shots, meaning they didn't just bring the ball down one side, pass it, and shoot it. They reversed it. They kept the ball moving. They looked inside, played inside out, offensive rebound. Nothing Ohio State did work. They're going to have to play much harder, the Buckeyes, if they're going to get back into this.
Points in the paint, points from behind the three-point arc, points in transition. Oh, you could slice it up basically any way you want. Indiana's offense torched the Ohio State defense. Ohio State, and this is not a powerhouse offensive team. The Buckeyes have 40 in the first half. They should be in real good shape. Tate, that's a good start.
That's automatic. That's automatic to start the second half. A double back screen for your best post scorer. In this case, it's Tate. Got a layup.
And so all of that stuff, it's a 12-point lead and not insurmountable. Josh Newkirk. Davis lost it. Indiana turnover. Jackson got tripped. Nailed the landing, though.
That is right there. The first possession against Purdue. A turnover and then either a foul or a layup, and he's safe.
That's some good style points.
Really
for me. 3 fouls on James Blackman. So that could be a story for Indiana. He goes to the bench. He had a nice first half.
Well, he had a really good first half on both ends. He wasn't awful defensively. He got in the stance a little bit, played defense, and moved the ball and shot when he had a shot.
Tate crossover and then went to his offhand, his right hand, and missed it.
It rolled down his hand. Thomas Bryant played pretty good defense there. It rolled down Tate's hand. He wasn't able to get a good release. I don't know why Thomas Bryant's at 30 feet against 6'3" Jayshawn Tate.
Davis got fouled. I mean, maybe the fact that Davis is on the floor at the same time pushes him out. I don't know.
And Rob Johnson is going nuts with Bryant. On the post pass to Davis, Thomas Bryant is supposed to dive to the front of the rim. Rob Judson right there, an outstanding coach at Northern Illinois. Really nice guard at Illinois back in the day. But he went nuts because that's how you beat the double team. The four-man dives to the front of the rim. There he goes.
Bryant, something happened. He's limping around sort of out of the play.
I watched him. He stepped on the foot of one of the defenders for Ohio State.
Jackson got fouled, so he'll shoot free throws.
Bryant dove to the rim, but he really had no idea what to do. There's going to be his feet. Keep an eye on those. He goes to the front of the rim. There's Loving, and he kind of just on his own. Yeah, I thought he stepped on Loving's foot, but he just twisted it on his own. He'll be fine.
Bryant's got 14 points, 6 of 8 shooting, 3 rebounds. Jackson missed the first of 2 free throws. Indiana's offense with the 54 in the first half. We're only a minute and a half in, but at this point in half number 1, they already had about 10 on the board. They haven't scored yet.
They made everything.
Everything. 1 of 2 for Jackson.
But again, as you said, all of a sudden we're sitting here and we're looking at an 11-point game.
Back to Green, long 3. Good.
Man, oh man, that kid is going to be a big-time player. Devontae Green. He is fearless, he is strong, and he can shoot it deep.
They hung with Purdue on the road earlier this week, and Green was a big reason why.
I like what they did right there. They put Tate out on the perimeter, middle of the floor, one-on-one against Bryant. No idea why Indiana doesn't do the same on the block with Bryant against Tate.
Bryant to set a screen. That didn't work. We'll try it again. That didn't really work. Shot clock winding down. Newkirk challenged, came up short.
This half have been the offensive possessions that have gotten Indiana beat.
Tate trying to take it upon himself. Bryant, great play to block the shot. But now Jackson open from the corner for three.
C.J. Jackson for three.
Hoosiers fans are thinking, uh-oh.
Well, both ends of the court. Indiana has offensively become what they have been over the last month and a half. Stagnant, standing around, trying to beat you with the dribble with no inside presence, and that is not good. Now, pretty good move here by Tom Crean. He's getting Davis out. He's going to put Bryant on the block and bring Juwan Morgan in.
Well, I'd be interested what the season-long sort of plus-minus. I don't always love the Davis-Bryant combo on the floor at the same time for Indiana.
You know, Davis has played well enough that he's earned minutes.
Yes.
But Thomas Bryant is a difference maker, both on the post and on the glass. But as you have seen, like right here, this will end up okay.
Much better defense from the Buckeyes. Bryant, shot clock winding down, gave it up. Morgan. No, shot clock violation.
Like I said, this will end up okay for Ohio State. I just like, one of the things where Indiana struggles, and they should not struggle as much as they do out of double teams. They look a little bit lost from the four-man position, not necessarily from Thomas Bryant getting doubled, but from the four-man position, diving to the front of the rim.
All right, so the officials are going to take a look. Did Juwan Morgan release the ball before the shot clock went off?
I thought he did. And I've been wrong so many times today.
Yep, chalk up another one.
Yep. I did. I thought maybe this went in before, but it's really not even going to be all that close, I don't think, by the time he gets it out of his hand.
Yep. Good call by the officials on the floor. I guess you got to look at it, but they seem confident with the call they made in real time. So now Ohio State can shave that lead down a little bit more. And going inside to Thompson against Bryant. Thompson and one.
Man, that was a great move. I thought Thompson was going to try to force it up right side against Bryant, but he went underneath the basket. This is really a nice play. You see the post feed. Bryant, pretty good position. Thompson just gathers. And kids, when you get the ball on the block, make your best jump. Watch this. He just jumps, plays through contact, keeps his chin on the rim. He doesn't fall. So many times guards and big guys they fall. They go forward instead of up. Thompson made a great play.
Indiana rushes it into the front court. Johnson runner, no. An 8-0 run. The Buckeyes have a chance to add to it. Good transition defense. A very risky pass.
Well, Ohio State got lucky because Thompson would have caught that pass and fallen out of bounds.
Yeah, that may not have ended well.
No, that would not have.
Now Buckeyes will get it in. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Mark Loving over to Thompson. Hit the jumper.
Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. Loving made a nice play. He thought he was just going to be able to post up Johnson. Johnson played good defense. Loving found Thompson. Got to go inside here.
And the last time it was this close was literally the opening minute or two of the game. This one has totally changed since halftime. Double team came, and Bryant just didn't know it, but he found Johnson, who misses the three.
Indiana has absolutely no idea how to play out of a post double from the four-man position. Inexcusable.
And the Buckeyes are taking advantage. You going to take it out of break?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Ohio State on a big run. They've made this a 4-point game. Dan Dakich, take us inside the play.
Well, this is basic basketball. You see the post double right here. Juwan Morgan has to get in front of the rim, and then you have to go to spots where the passer can make the pass. They have played awful against a double team, and Morgan's the guy. He has to get in front of Cam Williams there underneath the basket, and when you don't do that, you end up with pressured shots. If you do that, it makes the defense rotate. Indiana has been really, really bad playing out the post double this half.
Well, Ohio State has the ball. Closest it's been since it was 2-0. That was a long time ago.
They just played a lot harder. They just have. They picked up, they sped Johnson up a little bit on some shots. And as I say that, they one-hand pass throw it away.
Here's Newkirk in transition. Count it.
Big-time play by Josh Newkirk. Flying down the court. Lovey's coming. Here comes Tate. Nobody can get there. Newkirk with the finish. This is really, really good. Playing through contact, foul by Williams. Two guys jumped at it. Newkirk recognized it, got high in the glass.
This is a kid who was taking a lot of heat early in the year. He's played well.
He's played really well. You know, Indiana fans hold on to a few things, one of which is there's no point guard. Yes, there is. This kid's been really good.
They missed the chance for the three-point play, though. Ohio State still has to be feeling good about where they sit, considering everything that's gone on in this one.
What Indiana's done here, a little zone, has Ohio State out at 28 feet.
Yeah, with the shot clock winding down, not much going on this possession. Tate uses the spin move, though, and went right by Morgan to draw the foul. Well, tonight, 8:15 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Duke, Carolina, Part 2. After the Blue Devils got him at Cameron Indoor, Tar Heels will try to return the favor. Streaming live on Watch ESPN. The three-point shooting of Duke, the offensive rebound, tremendous.
Who do you like?
Well, I like Carolina. The only way Duke wins that matchup is if they make a lot of threes and Carolina doesn't make many. Duke's got to have a big differential in that department for me.
This is the best offensive rebounding team Roy Williams ever had. 43% of the misses.
And that's saying something, because he's had a ton of really good.
Yes.
That's been the bedrock of their program.
I think tonight Jason Tatum, for Duke to win, Jason Tatum's going to have a double-double. And I'm not even worried about the points. I'm talking about blocks and I'm talking about rebounds. He's got to be a force defensively around the basket.
If you can trade threes for twos, if you're Duke, you can give up some of those offensive rebounds. Bryant traveled.
Strength came into play right there. And Thomas Bryant, I really feel like last year Thomas Bryant would have spread out, muscled up, and played through a little contact there and been at the free throw line, but he's not really as strong, so he gets knocked off balance, travels.
As LaVonzo Ellis said, put those 20 pounds back on.
Start eating. Again, the zone offense is basically spread it, put Tate in the middle, and then play out of Tate in the middle.
Well, they leave Tate open for a three. That one looked pretty good out of his hand.
It did, but Indiana will take that.
Johnson had it knocked out of bounds. Tate saying it went off of him, but no.
You know, Tate shot that. It's like, hey, coach, I'm open. Well, there's a reason you're open, because you're a 20% three-point shooter.
He doesn't make a lot of them.
I like this move by Tom Crean, too. You're sitting here 14 minutes, 3 fouls for Blackman. You're in the zone. You might as well put him in.
And he gets the pass back from Bryant. The whistle came a little bit late, but I think it was justified.
No question about it.
Ohio State never allowed more than 84. Indiana had 54 at the half. The defense has obviously been a lot better for Thad Matta since halftime, and he didn't like that call. I thought it was a good call.
I thought there was a ton of body. I thought it was a really good look from Thomas Bryant. He recognized as soon as he got the ball that he had to get rid of it to a wide open Blackman.
2 against Tate. Blackman to the line.
My theory is big life, big stage, Big Ten. I don't think that's a foul.
So wait, a second ago, didn't you say it was a foul?
I did.
Okay.
But upon further review,
Yes.
no foul, straight up. No? You agree or no?
I think the foul was.
You're like
Fine
Patsy
call.
Weber. You can't say I was woo.
I never like to say that.
Oh, Fonzie, not Patsy Weber. What am I talking about? Arthur Fonzarelli.
Yeah, really speaking to the young demographic, Dan.
It's an old crowd here in the Big Ten. Well, as Taylor Swift said.
Okay, yeah, let's skew it a little younger. 3 fouls on Robert Johnson. Loving, good flash, and then a good look.
Yeah, really easy. Loving read the play nice. He sprinted from right wing into the middle of the zone and knew exactly where he was going with it.
Newkirk. I tell you what, the drives haven't been there as readily for Indiana in the second half. Lyle off the bench, almost lost it, then found a wide open Loving for 3.
And really nice. Mark Loving sprinted the floor and demanded the ball. He was screaming for it.
And it's finally loud. Amazing how much better the defense has been. Newkirk for 3, no. Ohio State sort of unbelievably has a chance to tie or go ahead. They were down 18 in the first half, but they'll turn it over with an offensive foul.
Screen and you roll a guy over. It's a moving screen. Let me show you Mark Loving here. You see him right there with his arms up. He is screaming for the basketball. Remember, he just made a nice play in the middle. It took Lyle a second, but you saw Lyle's head kind of snap is because Loving was screaming. I've always said if Mark Loving would extend his personality, his game would extend as well.
It's almost like he's just been such a nice kid for this Buckeyes team, and now Indiana returns the favor.
Wasn't Bryant's fault. Bryant was setting a screen. He was moving into the screen. James Blackman went just a little bit too quick. I think it's just a little bit too quick. You see here the handoff. Bryant's there. He's moving into position, and Blackman goes just a little. You just got to wait and make sure he's set.
So again, same scenario. Ohio State has never led in this game. The only time it was tied, it was 0-0.
If I'm Ohio State, I got to go to Jaquan Lyle. Or excuse me, I've got to go to Tate. Or throw it out of bounds to a cheerleader.
So that's 2 turnovers in a row on these possessions where they've had a chance to take a lead.
And this is what kills you late in the game. Like, you know that Northwestern game that they just beat Michigan on? Michigan had a 2-point lead in the ball 3 different times under 2 minutes. That's the real ball game. The shot wasn't bad at the end. The pass was great. But those possessions kill you late.
Bryant. That was kind of a weird pass. McSwain found a way to catch it, but was just right under the rim. Had nowhere to go. Jackson for the lead. Yes! First time all game.
Amazing what playing hard does.
Amazing. Blackman way off the mark and out of bounds. First lead for Ohio State this game, like the Big Ten season. Wild, unpredictable, and a lot of fun. Hunnigan's putting in effort to win the highest individual honor in our Wendy's Wooden Watch.
Just wanting to win, you know, the desire to win and help Purdue get to the next level. As far as the program has really been something that's motivating to me since I've been on campus. I feel like just the energy I play with on a nightly basis, and no matter what, I feel like I bring it every game, every night.
articulated so well by me, Caleb Swanigan, who's got a chance to win that award, I think is the lock for Big Ten Player of the Year. He's got a pretty good argument for National Player of the Year. Frank Mason of Kansas, maybe the other leading candidate. Josh Hart's been great, Lonzo Ball, but Caleb Swanigan and Purdue, they are Big Ten champions. They'll be the #1 seeds starting on Wednesday. They won't have to play until Friday, though, in the Big Ten tournament in D.C.
They just totally lost Loving. Indiana went out in the zone and started the zone with Blackman on Loving, then all of a sudden they just forgot. If I'm Blackman, I've got to get going here.
That is a foul against Bryant again. That's his second consecutive offensive foul.
I was watching Blackman. I didn't see it, but I do know this. Thomas Bryant does get frustrated. When he gets frustrated, he fouls.
Foul trouble starting to mount for Indiana.
I'm all for drawing a foul, but that was a foul.
Yeah, Tate at best a sell job.
Well, he got bumped, but Tate's a big, strong kid.
Yeah, I would think it would take a lot more than that to send him sprawling across the floor. Thompson down low. He's been effective, and this is a good matchup for him against McRoberts, who gets called for the personal.
The reason that's a foul on McRoberts is that he got up underneath of Thompson. You know, he had his shoulders squared. He was in good position, but he's up underneath. You have to allow at least a defensive player to move. You see arms are in there, and he's underneath the guy, putting Thompson on the line.
Ohio State's already in the bonus now. For the final 10 minutes of this game, Buckeyes will be shooting free throws.
This kid's been the key right here. He's been terrific.
And this is the front end, though.
Yeah, we jinx him a little bit, but this is where you lose a game if you're Ohio State. You have a 1-point lead. You've had 2 possessions, one with your best shooter, a 3 in the air, Loving, one with 2 free throws. You don't capitalize. This is how you lose.
Morgan against Thompson. He got pushed, and I think that was the right call. Thompson leaned into him there. His third foul. Foul trouble almost every game is an issue for the Ohio State big guy. Indiana in the first half led by as many as 18. They scored 34 in the first 10 minutes of the first half. They've got 7 in the first 10 minutes of the second half. They're 2 of 9 shooting. Made 2 buckets since halftime. Blackman baseline found a way to not go out of bounds, and then Lyle was trying to close out. He did that.
This would be called closing out with no technique. Like, there's a technique: short, high hands, and low. That's like short, choppy step, short and low. No. High, running out, and turning your back. That will not show that intent.
Newkirk missed the shot, loose ball.
Great play, McRoberts. Great play.
Extra pass for Blackman, 4-3.
That's a winning play by Zach McRoberts. He went down, dug the ball out. Next thing you know, Blackman with a 3. Huge swing. That's how you lose a game if you're Ohio State.
Indiana back ahead.
Somebody's got to get in the middle here. There you go.
Tate with that quick dribble move. That would have counted. That was going anyway. They noticed that Indiana interfered with it.
The current zone is being played by 2 guys, and 3 guys don't know what they're doing. McRoberts made a great play down there, but on that zone's got to get figured out because Indiana's very confused by their own defense.
Well, now with no Thompson, maybe Indiana figures they can match up a little better with Potter, who comes in. So we'll see if that zone gets scrapped the next time Ohio State has the ball. Newkirk.
See, try to watch Jayshawn Tate. He is guarding McRoberts and has no regard for McRoberts. He's just hanging out in the lane trying to stop drives.
Johnson, tough shot.
Tell you what, that's a big-time shot by Johnson. Pretty good defense by Ohio State. He just took it down, went to the corner, knocked it in.
He had a big first half. Those are his first points of the second half. Ohio sticking with that zone.
This is right now a triangle, or excuse me, a box and one with man-to-man coverage on Lyle.
That's interesting. Micah Potter, the big man who likes to shoot from the outside.
Indiana will give you that one.
Roberts just not looking to shoot at all. Johnson for three.
Great play again by McRoberts. He's not looking to shoot because he shouldn't, but he knew to find the next guy, the guy who had made the previous bucket, and that was Johnson.
Back-to-back big baskets for the Hoosiers. Here's Potter with the spin move. The freshman had it ripped away. Jackson came away with the ball. And now Lyle draws a foul.
I like everything about McRoberts in this game. McRoberts has been really good. You see him right here. He knows he's not a shooter. He also knows the guy who just made the last shot is this guy, Robert Johnson. Indiana back in charge.
Illinois and Iowa, these games are more important than for anybody else.
You and I are in total agreement. If Illinois loses this game, they go from first 4 out to out. Goodbye.
Seems a little harsh. Morgan with the foul.
That was really lazy by Trevor Thompson and really good by Juwan Morgan. Nice call, Tom Crean, out of the timeout. Juwan Morgan just blasted and stepped in front of Trevor Thompson. Thompson wasn't paying attention. Watch this here. You're going to see right side of the screen. Whap! Right in front. Bucket and one. Thompson 6.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, predictably, and at that Mata is saying the same thing I think you are. But predictably, 4 fouls, back in foul trouble.
Again, that's how you lose games. Zach McRoberts made the play of the game, getting the ball kicked up. And you know what? Indiana has taken off from there. Ohio State hasn't been able to solve this defense, hasn't been able to knock in a shot and miss free throws.
Trevor Thompson's fouled out 7 times this year, twice in the last 6 games. Now he's back on the bench. Ohio State needs a bucket. Tate got bumped, no whistle. Rebound Hoosiers.
Look at this, just run the floor, lay it in.
Morgan has given Indiana a big-time boost these last few minutes in a Hoosiers run as the lead back to 10.
You know what would be really good for Ohio State right now is to stop complaining. Like Jayshawn Tate, Thompson, just play. When they came out in the second half and just played as hard as they could, good things happened. Last couple minutes, Indiana has played much harder, and I'm telling you, it goes back to the play by McRoberts.
Well, Ohio State, they finally got a lead, then it was tied 64-64. 10-0 run since then, and that was the play you're talking about. It was right at that moment.
Basketball is amazing how one play can change an entire game. This is a 2-3 looking zone, and then it goes into man-to-man.
Tate, foul on Bryant. He'll shoot a free throw.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, too easy from Indiana's perspective. Tonight after Washington State, UCLA, right here on ESPN. Don't miss SportsCenter at night with Max and the coach. You want to know what they have to talk about today, Dan?
Tell me.
Champ Week, NBA, NHL, Spring Training, MLS, UFC 209, NFL News, and more. More.
There's always more. You know, I watched 5 minutes of an NBA game last night. The Pelicans with Boogie Cousins. Pelicans are currently 0-4 with Boogie Cousins. That's the worst team and the dumbest team I think I've seen in a long time. They don't get him or Anthony Davis a ball late. Boogie Cousins doesn't try in the fourth quarter when he doesn't get the ball. It's a bit of a train wreck.
Blackman against Wesson. Morgan! What a follow.
Yeah, penetration drew the defense. Morgan went to the rim. Big time response by Indiana.
Big time. Now Tate trying to take over, and he might just do it.
Absolutely. And Dan Mata, here's the reason he's calling timeout. He's got to get his defense set. He feels they are really unorganized in transition and in half court. So what do? You get a bucket, you call timeout, and you tell them to play hard. Do you think that's the best rivalry in college basketball?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know why?
Tell me.
Because not only the history, the tradition, the great players, they play close games. Like year after year after year, they go head-to-head and play close, memorable games.
I agree. I don't agree it's the best rivalry, but I agree it's the best game.
What's the best rivalry?
I think Kentucky and Louisville, just because you have crazy people on this side, crazy people on that side that literally hate each other. And anytime you get two groups of passion and crazy and hate, it's a great game, great rivalry. But I agree with you. The games, there's no denying the games, Carolina Duke.
The best games.
The best games.
I'm with you on your argument about Kentucky, Louisville. Some pressure from Ohio State.
Let me put it this way. I'm going to get home no matter what I'm doing, and I'm watching that game tonight because it's going to be great.
7-point lead for the Hoosiers. They led by 18 in the first half. Robert Johnson right through the defense.
He went right past Wesson and towards Jackson, and Jackson didn't even fake at the basketball. And Thad Matta was looking at Jackson like, what are you doing?
So you took the timeout to get your defense organized, and then that.
Timeout didn't work.
Mark Levy, it's been a relatively quiet senior day for him. He traveled.
You know why? Because Robert Johnson has taken great pride in his defense. Indiana is the most, what's the right word? They have all the gyrations when they make threes. It was the first time, and Robert Johnson just did it, I saw them make some kind of enthusiastic gyration for playing good defense. Nobody gyrates better than Indiana when they make a bucket. Like, they got all the stuff, the head bops. Watch.
Do they lead the Big Ten?
They lead the Big Ten by a wide margin. And look at me, I made a shot.
It's an unofficial stat. Tate down low. Morgan has just played so well in these last few minutes.
He's been the key. He and McRoberts have absolutely solidified things inside, and this guy's been very good and very dangerous, Johnson.
Under 5 to go. Indiana in good position to get a road win. Those have been hard to come by. Final regular season game for both of these. Johnson tries again. 3!
Man! Johnson just backed up. And Loving, for whatever the reason, went and helped on McRoberts. Johnson backed up and drilled it.
Loving slipped. That could have been a travel, and Morgan just swatted it out of bounds. It's
absolutely great.
Almost out of nowhere. He was non-existent in the first half. If Indiana wins this game and Nebraska loses, they're a 10 seed with a win and a Nebraska win on 11. So getting that 10 seed, they'll be rooting against Nebraska if they can win this game, because then you don't play on Wednesday.
Nebraska takes on Michigan at Nebraska.
Decent defense from Blackman.
Yeah, he stayed in front of a guy, but Jackson just made a nice move. Here, you have to, if you're Ohio State, you've got to get this end figured out and kick up the ball a little bit.
Has a chance to be the highest scoring, has a great chance to be the highest scoring game by any opponent in the history of this building. Tate finds Jackson for 3. Yes.
Great play by Tate. Great play by Tate. Getting the ball out of traffic, putting his head down. And what he did was he took it as far as he could. If he couldn't lay it in, he found Jackson. Now you got to duplicate it. If you're Indiana, the ball has got to get in Johnson's hands late.
Blackman hits a 3 to answer.
Great coaching by Tom Crean. He knows that Jaquan Lyle can't guard. So they brought Blackman off of a high screen, put him underneath the bucket, and brought him back, made Lyle guard twice, couldn't do it.
Man, Morgan almost came away with another defensive play. Now Tate wraps it down to Thompson, who missed the layup. Just out and out missed it. It goes off of Indiana. So Ohio State gets a big break, but they're down 10 with 3 minutes to go. The other night.
He's the nicest kid I've met in college basketball, and I have a son in college basketball. Malcolm Hill's nicer than my son.
Sorry, Andrew.
I like Andrew, but Malcolm Hill's like the nicest, best guy ever.
Lyle gets it to go with the soft touch. Ohio State needs stops now.
Picking up full court. What you hope is Indiana, early in the clock, goes one-on-one.
So they've matched the most points Indiana has ever scored in this building by an Ohio State opponent. Thomas Bryant, and now that's the new record.
That's really, really good by Tom Crean and his staff. They set a cross screen. Bryant got the ball one-on-one because of some movement. That is tremendous offense by Indiana.
Jackson for three. No. Thompson active on the offensive glass. Missed another layup. Here's Loving. Ohio State needs that one, and it goes in.
Had to make that one. You couldn't miss the layup, get it back. The whole place would have been deflated. Now you pick up. I don't think you have to foul yet. You can play this possession out, but you got to run when you get it after a stop.
Clock is Indiana's friend.
You go it live. They may flatten out without a ball screen and just let one-on-one go with Jaquan Lyle.
Blocked the screener,
which was a mistake.
Kind of muddled things up. Right. Blackman, end of shot clock. No.
Now you've got to go.
Yeah, you got to go, and you got to get points right now. Jackson, meanwhile, is hurt, so they're going to call a timeout. Yikes! You hate to see that. C.J. Jackson's played well. He couldn't move, but he was just stuck.
Substitution for Ohio State, number 15, Cam Williams, for C.J. Jackson.
See, Jackson's up here.
Yeah, I think it was before the landing.
Yeah, it was.
It was on the takeoff.
His right leg.
Jackson, who's played his way into a starter's role on this team as the season's gone on. I mean, he's right now he's one of the most important Ohio State players. And he's in a lot of pain.
You said it exactly right. He got stuck. Like, he didn't move. He was very, very afraid to move that right leg.
Well, we'll hope that he's all right. They could use him for these last possessions.
Whatever you do, you got to do it quick. High ball screen, drive it, figure it out.
Lyle goes quick with that extra kind of Euro step, sometimes people describe it. Gets to the free throw line.
He puts his body. He's got a really big body. He puts his body into you, and a smaller guy has no chance.
Slightly less big than last year, which I think has helped him overall.
I do too. Now he's got to make these. Last time he shot a free throw, he shot it way short. Just an inch from an air ball.
They missed that one. So maybe a cramp, a Charlie horse, something. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either.
Lyle, 17 points. Not many lately. He made one of two. Pressure from the Buckeyes. Dangerous pass, and then a foul.
Well, you've got to call the foul. Jaquan Lyle, or excuse me, Jae'Sean Tate was hustling like crazy, laid out. But because he laid out, the offensive player for Indiana tripped over him. It's foul.
Bonus time, 1-and-1 free throws for Newkirk in Indiana. Cam Williams goes to the bench. Cam Williams, we've said his name how many times today? A couple?
Cam Williams, who I thought was going to break out at some point this season, has gone 5 straight games without double figures, 10 of 31 in his last 5, and that really has hurt Ohio State.
So the front end for Newkirk. Jackson's back in the game. Another really strong effort from this guy.
He's been terrific. And you know what? Credit Indiana. When they got down, they came right back after. And Juwan Morgan was huge with that.
Well, Tate, he's one guy who realizes there's got to be some serious urgency.
Yeah.
He went quick.
And he finally got the call. He's been dying for that call, driving into the middle, taking a body. And he hasn't been able to get the ball over the front of the rim to get it in the basket, which is odd because usually he plays through that and gets an and one.
Every point huge for the Buckeyes. I got that one. And that shot did not go.
Yeah, he's used to seeing Jae'Sean Tate get those in for the and one, and he's had 3 of them. This is the first time he's gotten the call.
Yeah, way too strong. Well, in the final analysis, this game's not over. It's not going to be the offensive end, though, that cost Ohio State.
And you got to give Indiana tremendous credit. You're talking about really a team that has fought on the road. They lost to Purdue on Tuesday, but it was one of those nights at Mackey you just weren't going to win. I mean, there are certain buildings. Sometimes the barn is like that at Minnesota. Assembly Hall is like that most times. And Mackey Arena, the same thing. You're just not going to win. And Indiana fought hard, lost by 10. Played a one-point game at Minnesota on the road. In between that, had beaten Northwestern with a late run. So Indiana's fighting like crazy. And I'm telling you, Big Ten coaches to a man tell me the most dangerous team going into the tournament is Indiana.
This is a team, now look, no OG Anunoby, and that changes things a little bit, but they were ranked number 3 in the country. They're going to be a 10 or 11 seed in their conference tournament. Mark Loving for 3. Thompson. It's not over yet. Still a 6-point lead for Indiana. I mean, that's sort of hard to fathom. And this wasn't the first week of the year either that Indiana was the 3rd-ranked team of the country. It was pre-conference schedule, but they have that kind of ability and upside where they could be a true bracket buster in the Big Ten. They could go all the way and win the whole thing.
There's no question, Dave. And there's 2 things involved with Indiana. Tom Crean talked about it in our pregame show. They've been fouling too much. Like Indiana, you see their resume there. The Indiana philosophy has always been we want to shoot more free throws. Or excuse me, we want to make more free throws than the other team shoots. Indiana's made 302 free throws. That's how many they've shot, excuse me. The other team, the opponent in the Big Ten, has made 327. So Indiana has shot 302. The other team has made 327. They foul too much. They turn it over too much. They play on the perimeter too much. But I got to tell you, today, for the most part, other than about a 6-minute stretch in the second half, they've been very, very good. They've been back to where they were.
Well, I tell you one thing. If they hang on and win this game, I'm no Lunardi. I'm not a bracket expert. But you look at the bubble right now, it's roughly 9 spots available on the bubble, about 19, 20 teams involved in the mix, not including Indiana. Indiana is not considered on the bubble. Even if they got to the finals of the Big Ten tournament, so that they win this game and win 3 more or even 4 more, the bubble looks soft to me. It's not out of the question that the Hoosiers could work their way back sort of into the mix. So this is last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out, including Illinois and Iowa out of the Big Ten. But I mean, it's not like those teams have some great grip on their status. I mean, the Hoosiers have beaten Kansas and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And none of those teams in that mix have anything close to that.
I'll give you this, though. Vanderbilt plays Florida. If Vanderbilt beats Florida, that's 2 wins over Florida.
By the way, and that's a travel, and this game is not over. The tournament hopes for Illinois may be over. We understand that Rutgers just beat Illinois. That game's over.
You will not see Illinois in any more of these graphics. First 4 in, last 4 out, whatever. They're out.
So there's one. There's a spot.
Right.
If you're an Indiana fan and you're dreaming.
No doubt.
I don't think it's out of the question. That's just me.
You know what? Penn State plays Iowa.
Thompson makes his move, scores. 4-point game, 42.6 seconds.
Pick him up again. Switch everything, pick him up.
And Morgan needs to call a timeout.
Morgan had Blackman right there. Jackson had fallen down. Morgan called that timeout after about 2 seconds. And he had the best guy to get it to in Blackman, wide open.
Well, late game execution has not always been the strength of this Hoosiers team. They did have the run against Northwestern just a couple games ago where they sort of flipped the script and beat the Wildcats with a last-minute flourish.
You know, back to your point about who's in, who's out, Xavier has no hold on anything. Xavier's 8-9 in their league going into this weekend. And Xavier has lost. We talk about Anunoby out and Blackman out. Xavier's lost 2 of their best players. Their point guard Sumner is out. So I look at a team like Iowa now, and I also looked at a team like Illinois with a real opportunity. They blew their opportunity. Iowa can maintain with a win against Rutgers and then advance in the Big Ten tournament.
Iowa's another team that's probably scaring a few coaches right now, lining up for DC on Wednesday. Blackman went through the double team, and he's the guy Indiana wants with the ball. He is one of the best free throw shooters in the country. We're speaking of the Hawkeyes. Now that Illinois has lost, Iowa may be the team best positioned to sort of rise up. They got a winning record in Big Ten. They have some quality wins at Maryland, an Iowa State win that's a good non-conference win, at Wisconsin, so some good road wins too.
One of the things that
pretty good resume, actually.
There are 3 things that are going to happen during Selection Sunday.
Okay.
Dick Vitale is going to tell you that the little guy got screwed.
Okay, I'm writing these down.
Jay Billis is going to tell you that some seed line was wrong. And the commissioner, the head of the selection show, is going to say some team is in, Mark Hollis, from Michigan State, because they don't have any bad losses. The problem for Iowa is you saw 3 bad losses on there, and that's what hurts them as much as anything.
Tate to the basket. 28.8 seconds. Back to a 4-point lead. Now Morgan gets fouled.
And by the way,
yes,
I'm all for Dick Vitale, because one year he yelled about my Bowling Green team, and I felt he was right. I'm all for Jay Billis, because Jay Billis is the smartest guy in basketball. And I am all for the commissioner, because I think Mark Hollis is really, really a good guy and the right guy to lead any committee.
Committee chairman?
Yes.
Yeah. Commissioner, chairman, whatever.
What'd I say?
Commissioner.
He's the commissioner.
Okay. Of that group of people. Juwan Morgan is a good free throw shooter. He's 1 of 2 in this game. These are huge. Ohio State at least is doing a decent job of extending this game, making it tough on Tom Crean and company.
Yeah, what you need is 1 miss here. Then you go ahead and you make a bucket. Now Indiana has to make a free throw, but you need a miss.
He did not oblige.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty smooth. He nailed them both. I don't think you need a 3. Just go to the rim again.
You got to do it fast. That's certainly what Tate is thinking. Tate is just taken over. Another quick foul.
I like what Indiana's done here the last 2 times. I like the fact that they haven't messed around. Closest guy to the ball gets it in right now. It's not like, hey, we got to get the certain guy to take it out. They've gotten it in. Ohio State's had to foul.
And this has been a good job, though, by the Buckeyes. Now, it may not work because Indiana's making their free throws, but this is what you have to do when you're playing from. You got to extend the game. Give yourself a chance.
Yep. Every second counts. As soon as Morgan's gotten the ball, they foul. Now they have a chance.
Now you get a little break.
Yep.
Another miss would be huge.
All you're trying to do is get it to 3 so that Indiana has to make a free throw to make it a 2-possession game.
He came up way short. This one far from over. Jackson, he's not 100%.
He's just going to go.
Tate for 3. No. Johnson rebound. He gets fouled. I think the fact that Jackson was hobbled, he couldn't move.
Look, I don't know why Tate gave it up. The play has been Tate on a dead run going into the lane, either spinning, laying, whatever. And when he gave it up to Jackson, Jackson was absolutely not ready. And like you said, he couldn't go.
The whole thing stopped.
Yeah.
And that's not been these last few possessions. That may end up deciding this game. Johnson makes that one. So now you need a miracle.
There is nothing worse professionally than losing a noon basketball game at home. Because you have to live with it for a day, the rest of this day.
Jackson hits the 3. 3 seconds to go. 2-point game. All right, so now you do put that pressure that Indiana has to make. You got to make at least 1 if you're the Hoosiers. Ideally both to put the game away. Well, I guess you could say nothing for Indiana has been easy this year.
Not a single thing.
Not one thing. However, 94 points on the road on a noon game. And part of what you're talking about, when you're the home team, you should have the advantage on these noon games, I think. But doesn't always work out that way.
Well, Indiana came out to play. Tom Crean came out, and he made sure his team was ready by joining them in pregame. He went right on the court, watched them, and demanded that they be ready, and they were.
They were ready. We're ready for a quick check in studio with Adnan.
Failure is not an option. It's about how hard you keep getting it and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Wow. I mean, we heard the result. Thank you, Adnan and LaFonso, for the details. Tough right now to be an Illinois fan.
Yeah.
After all the excitement of the way they finished, and this week against Michigan State with a win that has us talking about them again, and then that.
You gave yourself a chance. You still have a chance, obviously, with the Big Ten tournament, but you put yourself in a variety of conversations, and you go on a game. Look, it's tough on the road at Rutgers. Steve Pikiell's done a great job. They're going to beat somebody, I feel, in the Big Ten tournament, but you know what? You had a chance. You didn't do it. You're out. Somebody else opportunity.
2-point game, 3 seconds, actually 3.3 seconds. Our graphic didn't indicate that, but on the arena clock, they had added 0.3 of a second to the clock. So that foul, 2.7 to go. Indiana did a good job getting the ball to the guy they wanted to have it.
Yeah, real quick, make 2 free throws, go home happy if you're Indiana.
Make these, you win.
Make these, you win. Miss one, you keep guys, you show your hands. You don't reach in, and you try to keep the ball on the side for 2 dribbles.
Now, Ohio State has no timeouts. So in case you were thinking, okay, you get a miss, fling it down, and call a quick timeout, set something up. No, can't do that.
I thought he pulled the string on that a little bit.
Too.
Creeped it over the front of the rim.
That's a guy who is almost automatic. There was some pressure involved in that stroke. No problem with that one, and that should do it. We'll see.
Don't touch anybody if you're Indiana.
Lyle heaving it, and it will go out of bounds. And is that the end of the game?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think there was a little time. Whether it matters or not, it's not going to matter. And Thad Matta knows it. But there was a tiny bit of time left on the clock.
I think it was like 0.2 of a second. Remember, the clock doesn't stop till the ball touches out of bounds. So it's going to hit inbounds right there. 0.5.
Yeah. Well, let's also put this game in perspective for Indiana while they sort this clock out. The most points Ohio State had ever. This building's been open since 1998, almost 20 years. Most points Ohio State had ever allowed in a game here was 84. And they're sitting on 90. They blew that out of the water today.
Great start.
11-0.
Coaches,
they led 11-0
yes.
in the blink of an eye.
Coaches know their team better than others, so for whatever the reason, Tom Crean decided his team needed him out on the court in pregame warm-up to just get everybody focused. It absolutely worked. They took the best shot that Ohio State had, coming back from 18 to take a 2-point lead, and then a great series of plays by Zach McRoberts, Robert Johnson, and Juwan Morgan opened up the game, and Indiana held on.
Right,
great win.
0.7 of a second. If you're Indiana, just do not foul.
If you're Indiana, sit down. Don't come out there.
Jackson heaves one up. It's no good. Indiana with a road win, and they will be dangerous when we're in D.C. on Wednesday.
You and I aren't the only ones saying it. Every coach in the Big Ten knows Indiana is an incredibly dangerous team.
For Dan Dockage, Dave Fleming saying so long. Indiana wins. Now time to go to Florida and Vanderbilt.